we interrupt your regularly scheduled viewing for this special ScreenJest announcement. With the coronavirus ravaging the country, we here at ScreenJest have decided to do a show entirely based on zombies.
Hey, look what he does to me ears.
Oh yeah, I know, it's awful, isn't it? Welcome, everybody, to the 5th episode of ScreenJest.
ScreenJest, episode 5.
Absolutely, and like we said last time, we are doing a zombie podcast special. Now, last time when we did this, didn't realise the world might actually be facing a viral outbreak, which is, you know, a thing.
Yeah. So when I bought these, a long while back. I convinced myself the world would be coming to an end, so I thought I'm going to buy loads of face masks, so that way if it does, at least I've got a little bit longer to survive. But it turns out I never used them. But
so we
now
thought they'd be great props.
Yeah, but now it's almost like we're in.
Exactly.
Right. Feet off of there, please.
You're gonna create noise, like this. Look, it's already thingy. Great idea.
Right, okay.
Great
so
idea.
Today's ScreenJest is zombies.
It is all about zombies today. Here
Can you
on
even hear me
ScreenJest.
through that? Can you? I'm muffled. Yeah, right, I'm taking it off. Right.
So it is all about zombies today here on ScreenJest. Viral zombies, magic zombies, movie zombies, game zombies. We've got them all.
Yeah, and to start with, T-Walks is going to give us a quick lowdown about zombies. Lowdown.
I'm going to give you the lowdown about zombies.
The lowdown, that's what they say, it's what the kids say. The kids
yo.
The kids, when they're in the hood, they go, yo.
Stop. Please stop. Let's take a trip back in time, gents, to... I don't really know.
Can we say 1864?
Sure, we could say 1864. I love 1864.
I thought that's what it was.
No. Zombies, you see, originally arose out of a mixture between Haitian and sort of like African origins. So it's a bit rubbish, but basically the African slaves originally had this idea of it's got an N in front of it, but it's Nzambe.
Nzambe.
Yeah, so Nzumbi, I think.
Nzambe.
Which means God, I think.
Right.
And then another word like Zambe or something like that, which means like effigy. Zambe. I love the grammar. Which means like effigy. So that was where the word zombie came from. It was kind of evolved.
So of God effigy.
Basically, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and it was that was where the etymology of the word zombie basically came from. More the effigy side of things, I think. And then eventually in Haitian practices and voodoo and things like that, it turned out that whilst it wasn't the Haitian priests themselves, because they were dead set against it, there were classifications of Haitian practitioners. They were called bokor, so B-O-K-O-R.
Oh, okay. Bokor. But as long as you've got a B and not a P, because then it becomes parkour.
Parkour!
And they're jumping around like
parkour! And the bokor would reanimate the dead, or have control over the dead, through the use of what we know as necromancy, which, if anyone's ever played any video game ever, you know exactly what a necromancer is.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, necromancy comes from the term like to converse, to communicate, and necro, the dead. So it is literally communication with the dead.
So necro being the dead.
Necro being the dead, and mancy being to commune with, to talk to commune.
Yeah.
That's why when you have things like what other words have got like mancy in them? I don't know.
Mancy boy.
Good one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But all the stuff in video games, necromancy and astromancy and legilimens or legilomancy.
So does that mean if you like to get it on with dead people, you could be a necromantic?
It's necrophilia.
Oh, he always spoils it.
Do you see that joke just get punched straight through? That's not really, mate.
It was funny.
So yourself.
So, necromancy, the act of either communing with the dead, so bringing souls into this world and things like that. Mediumship is a form of necromancy.
Yeah.
And the more sort of vile, evil, the kind of stuff that we normally associate with necromancers is the resurrection of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So was the Ice King in
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
You mean that it was the Night King, wasn't it?
the Night King? Sorry.
Yeah.
Was he a necromancer?
No.
Technically,
No.
he could bring back the dead. So yes,
Yeah, but I don't think he was.
I mean,
Well, what do you think he was?
yeah.
Just a bad guy.
Just a bit of just a rogue.
So if you want, like the night, so there's like whole classifications and stuff. When you get into like fantasy settings and games and stuff like that, there's loads of that sort of stuff. The Night King is probably more like a wraith or something like that, or like something along those lines. But he would be able to use the power of necromancy. You are a necromancer, but you're a human necromancer. So yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Necromancing the stone.
I get you. So that's basically the origin of the zombies.
Absolutely. Sorry, Matt.
I was
going to say was people then took that concept that came out of all this, Haitian voodoo and stuff like that, and thought to themselves, hey, you know what would be really good?
What would be good, Tom?
Let's turn everybody into zombies.
Well, absolutely
and
everybody.
End the world. George A. Romero. And that is pretty much where the genre has sort of moved into.
What a segue.
That's where the genre has moved into today. You were going to say, Matt.
I was going to say, Tom, tell us about the different type of zombies that we get. The fast-moving ones or the slow ones.
The thing I love about media today and all of this sort of stuff is there are so many different varieties of what you can do with a zombie. We're going to go into it in a lot more in detail now, but like you've got the 28 days later rabid zombies like running all over the place, being like,
I like that. I'm going to give it a go.
That's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Do your best zombie impression.
That was your zombie impression?
Yeah.
I was just looking at you thinking, your wife's a lucky woman.
Oh, you know the turtle touched the lily pad.
Do your best zombie impression.
I've dealt on the night.
This is the night. So, we were talking about the different types of zombies that we've seen. So, slow-moving zombies are the zombies that you see. They're like stereotypical zombies, aren't they? Shambling about, that scene from Shaun of the Dead where it's like, those
You said bass.
It's 4 in the fucking morning. That is your classic, like stereotypical zombie. Eat brains, move slow, shuffle about all over the place. Yeah. But people have been like, well, what about if we get fast-moving zombies like World War Z and the 28 Days Later, although technically not really zombies.
And also the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
You go from slow to fast.
Yeah, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, went right from straight.
When are we going to vote? What's happening?
We're never going to vote.
There's 3 of us, why can we not?
What do you think this is, a democracy?
This is a...
What's your favourite?
My favourite is the fast ones.
Right, now we've basically voted, because I'm going to do my favourite.
What's your favourite then?
Slow ones.
You like the slow ones?
I think, though, in the modern day times, I think the slow ones have been a little bit surpassed, because as we got older and we got more wiser and we got more savvy, we're not that scared of these slow things anymore.
Yeah, but that's the point. I'm going to put my iPad down.
It's not your iPad.
This is my iPad.
Is it?
Don't be like...
Oh, this is actually your
just
iPad?
because it's on finance.
No, I thought it was Matt.
It's not yours, so you fully paid off all the finance.
I thought it was Matt's iPad. I don't know.
My one's up there.
Oh, shit.
It's fucking scary when there's loads of them. That's my point.
Yeah, I know,
Alright,
I know, but I think the only thing that becomes scary about when there's lots of them, it becomes the fact that you become the contained, because there's so many.
Well, you're the minority.
Yeah, and our fear becomes rather the fact that
when there's bears of them, there's loads.
When there's bears of them,
loads of them.
Bear zombies.
Bear zombies.
Which
of them.
To everybody who watches this podcast, they're thinking zombie bears, but to the 3 people from Essex, it means there's fucking loads of them, mate.
Bears in the gay community, I mean, those guys.
Oh, wow.
But
I find that offensive.
because you're
yes, I bet.
twink.
No, yes. Oh, that's actually...
Where is all this language coming from?
We're supposed to talk about zombies.
I don't know. But Walking Dead season 2.
Yeah, go on.
There's fucking loads of them. It's the best episode. There's a gunshot, hundreds of thousands of them come past, and all of a sudden there's loads.
Oh, when they're on the highway.
Yeah, they're on the highway. They come off to the farmhouse, don't they? And there's zombies everywhere. No matter what you do, there's bears of them. You can walk away a bit.
I don't understand this term. There's bears.
Loads.
There's bears.
Right, okay.
Bear loads.
Bear loads.
Bear loads.
Well, you can't say bear loads because that's like loads.
I'll just put bear in front of everything.
Do you? What if there was a load of bears?
They're bear bears.
Bear bears.
What if there was a load of bears that weren't wearing any clothes?
Bear bears. There's bear bears.
Bear bears. Bear.
Okay.
Hello to everybody on Periscope. How you doing?
So that's the different types of zombies: the slow-moving, the fast ones. Now,
all two of them.
what do you think? What would be the middle in between? The leaping about like a frog.
The ones that aren't fast, but they're trying to improve themselves. They're going out every now and then.
Have either of you gents played Left 4 Dead?
Of course, I played Left 4 Dead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
I've hidden in that cupboard for an entire level.
Don't like
smokers, boomers, tanks, witches.
The witch. Don't disturb the witch.
Don't fuck with the fucking witch.
It's rubbish.
What, the witch?
What, Left 4 Dead?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just want one type of zombie, not all these different types of zombies.
I'll give you a funny thing.
Disagree.
Played Left 4 Dead. First time I ever played Left 4 Dead, I was quite used to zombie games and stuff like that. Played Left 4 Dead. Strolling through the city right at the start, accidentally set off a car alarm.
Yep.
Got mauled by about 1 million of them.
Yep, they fuck you up. They fuck you right up.
Someone told me first time I played it, they were like, "Oh, just go and ask that woman for help." Fucking witch in it, and then she goes crazy on you.
Yeah.
I threw the remote in.
Yeah, which always works, doesn't it?
I love the way that Periscope proper getting involved here. Left 4 Dead is one of the best games of all time. Absolutely. Left 4 Dead 2 is good.
That guy's a nonce.
Shut up. Left 4 Dead is a great series of games.
Although I did spend an entire hour in Left 4 Dead, I think, hidden in a cupboard. And just every now and then peeking open the cupboard, shooting a couple of shots out, go back in the cupboard.
You probably played Francis as well, didn't you?
What happened when you come out of the closet?
They were all out there. There was about 1 million out there.
So many bears.
I know where
there was bears when he came out of the closet.
I came out the closet and there was a right stiff.
Still finding this really offensive.
Right. Anyway, come on, let's move on.
Back on script.
Back onto script. Right. So we've talked a lot about zombies. Let's talk about our fears of zombies. Why are we scared of zombies? Now, for me, my greatest fear of zombies isn't really now zombies. It's what they've evolved into. It's the fear of infection. The fear of being out of control. Something else controlling your body.
Yeah.
Why are you German?
Yeah, because I'm just saying. Yeah.
To me, that's what our fear is of the modern day zombies, and also the olden day zombies. I thought that our fear tended to be.
Oh, sorry, I've just seen someone has said zombies are fake and only in movies. We'll get back to that. They're totally not.
He's right, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's wrong.
No, the Haitian zombie.
Not even the Haitian zombie, but carry on what you're saying. There is a whole point there.
Something else I've always found a bit scary about zombies is the fact that you could be taken out by a loved one.
Yes, like that scene in Shaun of the Dead where he has to take care of his mum. We killed Philip. Sorry, Philip.
I've got a few loved ones. See, Connor hasn't got any, so he'd be all right.
No.
Why are you leaning in like that?
I just wanted them to say no.
Oh,
they're right.
Do you see zombies in real life? You can. There is a certain type, right, of... if anybody has seen The Last of Us, it exists in real life a certain type of fungal spore that when you this spore, right, this spore.
Hang on, isn't it called Pericloptes or something?
I think something along those lines. You got an iPad? Fucking look it up.
I'm reading about Fury Wilder.
Well, look up zombie mushroom, because what it does is it all of the spores into the air. Ants, not people.
Hello.
Hey guys, ants, not people, are the ones that get infected, and basically it begins to replace parts of their brain, sends them up into trees and stuff like that, and then they sort of die. The mushroom grows out of their head, and then that explodes and sends all of the spores everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's mental.
Imagine, I don't know.
Look it up.
I don't know if you just said it, but imagine if ants become zombies.
Ants are.
And then if an ant bit you, you become a zombie.
Oh man, it'd be bare ants, wouldn't it?
It would be bear ants. Look it up. Zombie ants.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to do it though. We hired you for research purposes. You do shit all.
Colin's actual job is research.
And he sits there and does nothing.
Ask me about Fury Wilder.
I don't care about Fury Wilder.
He's got nothing to do with Fury and Wilder.
In my opinion, zombies created by movies
Don't bang on
only,
that.
but in real life, nobody can believe that. Yeah, no, seriously, there are real life, not like human zombies or anything like that, but there are also people. I suppose if you want to talk about human zombies. Do you remember all the people that were on drugs?
Yes,
in the Americas and stuff like that, and like,
salts.
Yeah,
Bath salts.
PC bath salts. They were all like on shitloads of PCP.
Eating people's faces.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't know what I was doing. So so you go, zombies in real life too. You need to be on mushrooms or PCP.
PCP. Right, let's get back on track anyway. Because actually, when we play this back, we're not going to see those. These are just the live viewers.
Well, that's why we're adding context. That's why we're adding context.
That person's first day.
Right, let's get into some films.
Yes, let's
get into some films.
Cover one.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Right, films.
Thank you.
Most famous of all zombie films, Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, well, the trilogy, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I think most people know Night of the Living Dead, don't they? And they know...
Dawn of the Dead first.
Thank you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think Night of the Living Dead, though, is what set that cliche of the zombie. The slow, rambling zombie, blah, 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 blah.
I watched it, actually, in a library.
You watched... Why were you watching it in a...
Because you could
stream videos.
Watch films in the library.
When
I was about 10... No.
Were you doing piracy in your local library?
8 or 9 I was.
So you're on LimeWire.
I think it's not copyrighted, Night of the Living Dead. You can just get it.
I think you might be right. I think because of the length of time, if you get an original version that's not been remastered, I think it is outside of copyright.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was the cliched zombie, the rambling zombie. But also, what was good about it was there had never been a film like that before because it didn't have any explanations or anything like that. It was just there were zombies. There were zombies. That was it. But also,
good at the start as well, where he's like,
I'm coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's have more of a research.
Yeah.
I want to do some research.
what do you want to look at?
The zombie ants. Carry on.
Zombie ants. But also, Night of the Living Dead has got an amazing end to it.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
An amazing end. So
Go on.
So these survivors have holed up the whole night in this farmhouse.
I don't want to catch your bad taste.
They spent the entire night held up in this farmhouse and they've managed to survive. Daytime arrives, we're survivors.
What?
Our hero is looking out the window. He sees a group of people coming towards him and thinks, here we go, we've been saved. But no. One of the group of people, they're a bit of an old rogue bunch of scavengers out killing zombies. And they just straight away see him, assume he's a zombie, shoots him straight in the head.
You're missing something, though, aren't you?
I'm not missing anything.
I mean, he got shot because he was black.
Well, there was a racial element to it.
And they were shooting him because he was...
Well, you could put that, or do you just say that they've shot him just because they thought that he was a zombie in the house? But anyway,
I like
he's
this
got a really
guy.
good end.
Periscope's active. I like it.
But then we have the middle one of the trilogy, Dawn of the Dead, which is possibly the best in the series.
That was the one they remade, wasn't it?
It was the one they remade. And the funny thing about Dawn of the Dead is it looks at the zombie, but it takes a satirical take on the zombie. So it looks and says, hang on a minute, who are the real zombies here? These people that are zombies, or humanity that is become zombies to consumerism. So they set the whole thing within a shopping mall with the zombies
Going up and down escalators.
going up and down escalators. So what they kind of imply is that when they become a zombie, they resort to what they primarily do best, which is consume.
Has anybody seen
They're all blue as well. Blue and grey.
Well, they are dead.
Well, yeah,
they've got the thing that makes you pink is
Weird,
the heartbeat.
Yeah,
anyway, has anybody
grey.
seen Warm Bodies with Nicholas Hoult?
No.
No, that's a weird film, but very interesting point that you made there. Nicholas Hoult, is a zombie in an airport, and all he does every day is just shuffle through the airport. That's it. Just in that same base primal, sort
Tom
of.
Hanks in the terminal.
That was Bill Murray, wasn't it?
No, it was Tom Hanks.
It was Tom Hanks in the Terminal.
So he's kind of just resorted back to what he knows best. It's almost like muscle memory.
Yeah, just being in the airport. That was his last known memory.
And then we went on to Day of the Living Dead. And Day of the Living Dead, again, it went on to satirical. But whereas Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, was set in this shopping mall. Day of the Dead is set within the world of these zombies. So the zombies have taken over the world, and now there's a group of scientists and civilians within a military bunker trying to research what's going on with the zombies and trying to survive. But for me, that again takes on a satirical take of, all of a sudden we're looking at a military state. So the military have taken control at this stage, and it really doesn't matter who you are, what you are. The might of the military has taken control. So we have then become zombies to that. And also, they're contained within this complex. So the threat of the zombies doesn't come directly from the zombies themselves, but actually comes from the containment of the people within.
Well, this is a really interesting point, isn't it? Because one of the fascinating things about any, if you look at things like Dawn and Night of and Day of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, for example, and all that sort of stuff. One thing that they all seem to focus on is the complete breakdown of society. Everyone's fundamental inability to then just be okay. Everybody falls into this. Like, the only thing that holds, I don't know, any of us together, us sitting here doing this podcast, everything like that, is just this unspoken and kind of like rule, do you know what I mean? But get rid of all of that, reduce that whole thing down to nothing, like a zombie apocalypse or whatever. Get rid of the majority, and you're left as the minority. No law, no order, no nothing.
That all bores me when that happens.
What?
Does it not?
When they're always like, it's the real enemies are ourselves.
Well, cool, because the real enemy is ourselves.
It's that guy's trying to bite you.
No, see, I don't think it is.
I unfortunately completely disagree.
From these zombies, let's all just.
But that's it, isn't it? It's like a zombie at that point is like a flood or a sandstorm or any kind of natural disaster.
It's a force of nature, isn't it?
Exactly. And then the problem is who you hold yourself up with.
Yeah.
Always. How do you survive? How do you move on from that? Do you know what I mean? How do you?
Yeah.
That's the bit that always interests me. How like whenever I think to myself, what would I do in a zombie apocalypse? First of all, actually, do you know what? Now I think that's a decent break into films.
Yeah.
I can ask you a question of what would be your first port of call? So zombies hit tomorrow morning. What do you do? What do you do?
He's got a plan written out. He's hidden it. And he won't tell us it.
First of all,
he won't tell us it.
If that's the case, that's a really clever idea.
He won't tell us.
Second of all, do you have an alternative idea that you can share with us? Thirdly, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it.
Straight to B&Q, mate. All right.
Straight to B&Q.
Straight to B&Q. Yeah.
What's B&Q got?
Literally all kinds of sharp gardening implements and stuff like that. Chainsaws, axes, pickaxes, all of that sort of stuff.
Big entrances.
Where do you find?
Rhododendron bushes.
Yeah, I need to sort out my rhododendrons. But we don't have any weapons here in the UK, do we?
No.
Like, it's not as if we can walk down to Asda's and pick ourselves up a Smith and Williamson or something, is it?
See,
we got to go B&Q. B&Q, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, is like a Home Depot type situation. Just sells gardening and fencing and rhododendrons.
Yeah. See, I would be a little bit different. I would think, am I interested in fighting them off? I don't think I am interested in fighting them off.
Self-defense.
But I'm not going to put myself in that position.
All right.
I'm going to just outweigh them.
All right. Oh, hang on. What do you mean outweight them?
Well, they're the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Therefore, there's no blood flow.
Immortal?
What are you going to do then?
No, they're not. Their body is going to slowly start breaking down. And it's like they're going to get to some stage where they're no longer a threat.
But you're going to starve. Well, scientist.
No,
you're going to starve. Oh, I see. So you've got the plan.
Where are you going to go where there's no people?
He's got a plan.
We're going to go where everybody knows your name.
We're going to go to the Winchester. We're going to have a pint. We're going to wait for all this to blow over. We're going to kill Philip. Sorry, Philip. Fair enough. So,
I just think at that stage, yes, I understand your defence in terms of self-defence, but then I think, is it worth that? Do you know?
I need to defend myself.
Right.
So ideally, I'd have all of these in a duffel ready to go.
What's the first thing you pick up?
One
thing.
One
thing at B&Q.
I only get one thing at B&Q.
Loads of people are going in there quickly.
A brush knife.
No, an axe.
I go for a brush knife.
I don't think they sell brush knives at B&Q.
They do. I've seen
Do
them
they?
in there, yeah.
Sweet.
Brush knives.
They're the big hooked ones that you use for cutting down.
Like a machete.
Yeah.
Machete, don't
Yeah.
text.
Yeah. I'll go for that.
Yeah.
It depends what you got. Your option is. What you're trying to do.
Ladder.
A ladder.
Get
To where?
top of a bit roof.
What
with,
roof?
with all the pigeons.
Zombie pigeons.
Get on the roof.
No, zombie shit. So you'd get on a roof.
Pull my ladder up.
Yeah.
This is a great start. Where's the food?
Wait for them to go away. Climb back down.
They wouldn't go away.
Yeah, but then
They're
where
the
are you
living
going? You're
dead.
in B&Q. There's no food in B&Q.
No, ladders come with me.
Oh, no, but you're not going to eat the ladder.
Where are
taking
you?
the ladder with me.
Where are you?
Anywhere and everywhere.
That's ridiculous.
All I can see this is now can be one of those big comedy scenes. You're walking along with a ladder, and I'm going to say, "Oh, Connor!"
I'm just knocking
Just
zombies.
like 2 zombies just get taken out, or whatever. two B&Q zombified B&Q employees just get taken out. Either
We
end.
should do that sketch.
Like a Chuckle Brothers sketch.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyway, let's get back on the film.
Yes,
Step
let's.
ladder, obviously, though.
A what?
Step ladder.
Well,
So
Don't get on my real
We've,
ladder.
we've basically ascertained that Connor's going to cook himself like a fried egg on top of a
B&Q
roof somewhere.
roof.
I'm apparently
Going out hacking everyone up.
Yeah, well, sorting out my gardening.
Yeah, sorting out your rhododendrons.
Absolutely, I've
And
got roses to
I'm
plant.
squirreling myself away. I'm going to hide in a nearby thicket. Right. Of course, in the films, when we're talking about the Romero trilogy, it was remade. Dawn of the Dead was remade by Zack Snyder, but it was remade for a more modern audience, so the zombies were super quick. Although it was still a darn good film. And I think it was Zack Snyder's debut film. It was kind of a breakthrough.
But
I tell you what I like about it again, it doesn't explain why they're there.
No.
It just starts, and it starts hell for leather. Like, all of a sudden, zombies, you're in trouble. And you see the world collapsing amongst everything. But
It's mid collapse when you pick it up. It's not as if you know. And I keep coming back to it because it's just such a weirdly good zombie film, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Where they're on the news. And he's like, you know, talking about how they've had reports of people, you know, removing the head or destroying the brain, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But everyone in Sean's neighbourhood is a zombie at that point. It's just completely unrealistic. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
You just dropped in.
Everything's kicking right off, and all of a sudden the fear is real. So there's that. Right, so let's go on to a different type of zombie. Those were real classed as proper real zombies. Now we go on to what I would consider some of the greatest zombie films of the last decade, certainly, well, longer than a decade actually now, especially in the UK scene, the 28 Days Later.
You're forgetting, obviously, the entire Resident Evil franchise, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I've got that down later after movies.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the game. There's
the Resident Evil films.
We'll get there. We will get there. I really liked 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later.
Yeah, but although again we have now moved from it becoming zombies. Now they are technically zombies, but they're infected with the rage virus.
Yes, which is you know, MacGuffin rabies basically.
Yeah. But they're super quick moving. They're super agile, jumping about everywhere.
Parkour.
And they've also got these bright red, funky eyes.
Yes.
But again, it toys on that whole thing of isolation. He wakes up in a hospital and he's the only one alive. And
Rick Grimes?
He's completely isolated. And I really enjoyed that. I think that's really good. Cillian Murphy.
Yep. That's got what's his name in it as well? The Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah. Christopher Eccleston, yes.
Christopher Eccleston. He was the mate. He was the army guy.
The army captain, the little base they head to at the end.
But 28 weeks later with Robert Carlyle.
28 weeks later, he's set 28 weeks later. But what that's working on the premise is the virus, the rage virus, was contained within England. So England has become a quarantine zone.
We are an island. You are welcome.
England's become a quarantine zone, but we're now at the stage where there are no new cases. There have been no new cases for a fair period of time, and the world's deciding we can move back to England. However, the virus has mutated, and it is sitting dormant in survivors, waiting for that opportune moment where it can spread. But 28 weeks later, it's got a scene in it that really disturbed me, and it still does to this day. And it's right at the start, where Robert Carlyle's character is in a room, and there's his wife.
Yeah.
And there's a zombie, and he acts out of sheer instinct, and he leaves her.
Yep.
And as he's running away, she's at the window going, help, with the zombies. He's in floods of tears, but he's made that decision there. And I think one of the reasons that disturbs me is because I don't think anyone would know what they would do in that situation. No. I don't think you could say, I would stay and fight them all off.
I think a lot of people would say that.
But I don't think he's faced with this moment, and he just decides to run.
Yeah.
And, he leaves her. And as he's running, you can see his anguish in his eyes that he's made that decision. But at this stage, he's made it. He can't turn back.
Robert Carlyle is one of my favourite actors, by the way. Robert, if you ever see this, I love you. I really liked it for that reason, because he takes his kids back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's his son and his daughter that end up going back into London.
Yeah, go back into London, and they find his wife.
Yeah, they do.
They find his wife, and she seems to be completely fine and okay. But it's within her that the virus is lying dormant.
It's the young boy, isn't it? Is it the young boy?
No. It's her. It's her, and she's in quarantine. He then decides he's got to go in and give her a kiss and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for leaving you behind."
And it spreads saliva.
And then he goes in. Bosh! The virus is back in town
because it spreads through saliva.
Yeah.
Another, very quick tangent point there is around how the virus in these zombie films always spreads. Saliva. That's why bites work. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's held in all of the bodily fluids and things like that. So blood, or biting, or anything else that you can think of, that's how it's obviously spread and things like that.
Yeah.
The rate of infection and all of that sort of stuff, it's those are the real differentials within the
which
the
I suppose
franchise.
It comes down to, we look at it and say maybe it is our fear of sexually transmitted diseases and things like that, where these things are being transmitted through bodily fluids.
I think it's our fear of disease in general, isn't it? So from a to nerd out a bit for a second, human beings are hardwired to avoid infection at all costs. Do you know what I mean? So the swapping of any kind of bodily fluids, whereas if you see two people kissing, do you know what I mean? It's the childish thing to go, kissing, you know what I mean?
You've got cooties.
But it's a lot more based than that. It's this whole spreading of disease and infection and things like that, because we see each other just as these transmission vectors for viruses and stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So there's the 28 days and 28 weeks later. Then I've got on my list World War Z with Brad Pitt, which was based on the Max Brooks book World War Z.
Great.
Which was a sequel to Survival Guide to the Apocalypse, the Zombie Apocalypse. The book is very different to the film. The book is based on accounts of the zombie war.
Yep.
That wouldn't have worked in a film.
No.
So they've taken the film and they've said, right, the world is at war with zombies. Zombies have taken over. How are we going to find a cure? And it's got Brad Pitt searching for a cure. Now, I watched this again recently because I didn't think much of it first time, so I watched it again recently. But one thing it has got going for it is it's got amazing visuals of these zombies swarming. And when they're swarming, they are literally clambering over each other to get to the target, and they're attracted by noise.
That massive wall that they surmount each other to get to.
Humanity, we're sitting there, all the survivors in Israel are sitting there going, oh, we're safe, we're behind a giant wall. They start singing praise to the Lord. But that attracts them, and the zombies, before you know it, built up this big mound of bodies, and they are over the wall. And I just thought it was really good. Although what's sporty, I think, for World War Z was, it quite clearly was made to go into a second movie, because it finishes with them discovering not a cure, but a biograde weapon that they can use against the zombies. And it finishes with Brad Pitt saying, we've now got a weapon. It's not going to be easy, but at least we've now got a chance. So I did like it. It's nowhere near as good as the book. Check out the book, World War Z by Max Brooks. Really, really good. And also Survival Guide to the Apocalypse, to Zombie Apocalypse. Really good books. Then we have got, which is a bit of a twist on the zombie genre, The Girl with All the Gifts.
One of my personal favourites of zombie films, I must say. I really liked the interesting tweak, the interesting sort of spin that they had on it.
Yeah, so The Girl with All the Gifts, again, it's an infection. But the difference with this infection, it's a fungus.
Yes, similar to The Last of Us, similar to that real life infection that I was talking about, which we did look up, and then now we're on Twitter.
So this fungus has infected people, and it's creating, and they call them the hungries, and it is driving them mad and giving them bloodlust. Now the way when the Girl with all the Gifts kicks in, the world basically has ended at this stage when the film starts. However, there is a second generation of zombie, and these are the children that were within the wombs of pregnant women who were infected. Now, these children are like regular children. They can think, they can speak, they can reason, they can learn. However, they still have bloodlust.
They've not got the base zombie cognizance, but do have that same desire for flesh and brains.
So it's set within a lab where they're basically got these children. You've got a teacher that's trying to teach them and see if they can teach these primal instincts out of them, and you've got the scientists who are dissecting them all to try and learn, is there a cure here? It's not going to be a film if nothing goes wrong. It all goes wrong.
Oh no!
And the kids get out. Everyone gets out into the zombie world where the hungries are eating everyone. But the amazing twist, I think, on this is, because it's a spore, so a fungus, they find the BT Tower in London, and in there, all the zombies have mutated together into a big mass on the tower. And this is the second phase of its reproduction stage. And rather than it being transmitted through bite and infection, this huge tower becomes like a puffball fungus.
Yeah, like a fungal spore.
Spores.
Yeah.
So it makes the entire world uninhabitable or inhospitable. Absolutely. So I quite like that. I like the fact that it's evolved. That this, to me, is almost like is a story about how nature is fighting back against the threat of the world, which is us.
Yeah, once again, if you've seen The Last of Us, that's like a classic example of this kind of sort of fungal infection rate rather than a virus and stuff like that. And
spoiler alert, it starts off with the zombies hidden within the lab and contained, and it finishes with the human survivors within the lab contained, whereas all the actual zombies have now got free reign.
Yeah. So, when do they start to outnumber us?
Yeah.
And finally... well, first of all, I want to take a little bit of a lead on this because if you saw our SCP video last week, you'll know that this
I'll put a link in up.
Please, there. Yes, we're going to link here, right where this hat is. We are... if you saw our SCP video last week, you'll know that SCP-610, something called the Flesh That Hates, is this kind of amorphous, fleshy thing that also spreads these spores. It's very similar to that. If you're interested, go and check that out. And finally, Matt, one of my personal favourite zombie films. Yeah. And the reason I say it's one of my favourite zombie films is because of one interesting sort of zombie fact, but that's The Train to Busan. The reason it's one of my favourites is because of the fact that the zombies are so rotted and necrotic that their eyesight has effectively rotted away to the point where they can't see in low light. Yeah. So it becomes a key plot point that they can get past the zombies as long as they are in low light. But also what I like about The Train to Busan, again, it has that swarming thing. The zombies literally are throwing themselves off of things to get to their targets. There's no shambling downstairs. They're literally throwing themselves through windows and absolutely everything. It's a really, really good film. It's a Korean film. Definitely check it out. I have got a couple of other films on my list of the films here, but this is going to be a big spoiler. Wreck and Wreck 2. Okay.
And Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
You might have seen Wreck in our found footage one. Again, I'll put a link up there.
Wait, hang on. Put a link here. Ping. No, up here. Next to me. Over me. I want the link. We're going to put a link to our found footage film here.
There. And it starts off with the found footage of a zombie infection. However, it turns into something completely different and it moves totally away from the zombie genre. It turns out that the infection is actually demonic possession that has gone viral. So they aren't actually zombies, they are actually demons. But it's still, it starts off, it's half zombie and then it changes into something else. So it's certainly worth a mention. And I've also got on my list here something to look forward to It'll probably be out soon. Zack Snyder's follow-up to Dawn of the Dead, Army of the Dead. It's the first film he's been made after the Justice League shambles.
As long as he don't get his own way with that cut, it's always better when the studio do what they want for Zack Snyder films.
But Netflix basically have given him a load of money to make this film.
Yep.
And it is described as a zombie heist movie in Vegas. So what it is, Vegas at this stage has become overrun by zombies, but it's been cordoned off by shipping containers.
Right.
Yeah, inside is a zombie thing.
Yeah.
This is all, nobody really knows.
Conjecture.
This is what it is, conjecture. But someone wants something, a MacGuffin, from one of the vaults within a Vegas casino.
Of course.
So in they send a squad of mercenaries. But nobody really knows it. But it's certainly from
The old
bits
grizzled
and
guy,
pieces.
don't talk.
Yeah, you'll have all of them.
Have him.
Yeah.
You'll have all of them.
You'll have
The one who's coming for one last job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The new guy.
New guy.
Yeah.
The one who's going to turn on him.
Yeah. Always.
And then doesn't, but the one who weren't going to turn on him does turn on him.
Yeah, we'll see if we've got all those tropes in there.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
And
Is it a movie or a TV series?
movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah, which is good.
Maybe we should do a quick, ScreenJest spotlight
Yeah.
on that movie
When it comes out.
Absolutely.
On Netflix.
And
Yeah.
the last honourable mention I want to make, now straight away you're going to say, we're talking about zombies. Why is he mentioning An American Werewolf in London?
Why are you mentioning An American Werewolf in London?
Because
Matt?
American Werewolf in London has got the best representation of a zombie ever seen on screen.
Why is that?
Jack! When the werewolf attacks, anyone who's killed by the werewolf becomes a ghoul, a zombie, and they have to live undead until the curse is lifted, i.e. that the werewolf's killed. And Jack appears, and he's been got by the Kessler wolf, and he's all ripped up, and he slowly starts to decay over the course of the movie, and it's just absolutely incredible watching that decay. When he first appears, he's got this bit of flappy old skin where he's had his jugular ripped out, and as he's talking, he's flapping away. It's almost like that flap is a character in itself. Really, really good. Really, really good. Well worth watching just for well, it's a brilliant film anyway, but a great zombie in it.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And that's the films.
That is the films. But don't worry, guys. We've still got TV shows, comic books, video games, all sorts to cover.
Yeah.
So let's do those real quick now. In the realm of TV, I'm not... I'm a huge TV buff. I don't do badly. But I must say I'm not an expert on The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead is shit.
The Walking Dead is awful. I tell you why I hate The Walking Dead. Because I was a massive fan of The Walking Dead comics.
Right, let me put my...
Okay.
So I was a massive fan of The Walking Dead
Yep.
comics. Now along came The Walking Dead TV series, and it took the characters I love from the comics and it changes them and they do different things. So straight away that's not good for me. I didn't like it.
Why shit? Nothing happens. And then what they do is the end of the episode, they go, oh, next week. What they preview for next week never happens. Then you think, oh, for fuck's sake. And then they're like, next week. And you're like, oh, that don't happen.
It's been
And
going
then-
for like about 8
And then
seasons,
you think,
hasn't it?
and then you think, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. And then they have a fucking mental episode. We're like, oh my god. And then after that, nothing again for about 8 episodes. And then something happens again. It's
Okay.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, with
Days, though.
a threat like a zombie or a zombie apocalypse, it's a slow burner. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're saying it's a background threat to a something or other. That's how much we. Whereas and you could say that with The Walking Dead, but I never go into it. I know there's people out there who love it, and that's not to say that you shouldn't love it because it's a great TV show. It's been 8
I've
seasons.
heard lots of people say that it should have ended 5 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't get past that farmhouse bit. That was my problem. So season 2, what you were talking about. No, I got to season 2 and that was it. I stopped.
It was a bit boring.
I didn't care after that.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
In the comics, they spend a whole load of time in a prison. In
Yeah,
the
they do
comics.
that as well.
They
But
do,
don't
yeah.
spend that long in there, do they? In the TV
Long,
series?
it feels like a long time.
Is when you're watching it an hour apart.
Have you seen Kingdom?
And here we go. And next one, Kingdom.
Not the Stephen Fry thing.
No.
I have-
It's just Kingdom.
I have seen the Stephen Fry thing and I do quite like that, but by all means, kind of
Have
please.
you seen Kingdom?
No.
Have you seen Kingdom?
I've seen the first episode
When?
last week.
Alright then, good. Kingdom's great.
Yeah.
I watched it all in like no time.
Is this on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kingdom is set in
Korean or
It is Japanese.
Okay.
It's set in feudal Japan.
Big fan.
It's brilliant.
Oh,
And
is this? Sorry, I think I've seen someone watching this.
yeah,
This is the plant, isn't it? Is this the plant that brings them back to life?
I've not seen that.
There's something about a plant in there. I can't remember that.
Where?
There's some kind of herb someone's.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
proper feudal Japan.
Yes, it's proper feudal
No
Japan.
one knows why the zombies have come
No,
out. It's
no.
not been explained.
No.
And it starts off with their emperor is hidden behind a cloth sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's a zombie.
Well, don't say that because.
Well, it's quite obvious. It's in the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
No, it's not. No, it's not that obvious. It's not.
Spoilers.
But also, don't say any more spoilers. But obviously,
I ain't seen
the
it.
zombies only come out at dark.
Yes.
But no more spoilers after
No,
that.
so-
Well, it's
Oh, because
interesting.
you don't even know the other spoilers.
There you go.
No, because I've only seen the first episode.
So, in Connor's opinion, watch Kingdom.
Season 2 comes out, I think, later this year.
All right, okay.
And then Dead Set, which
Dead
of course,
Set's great.
which was the Charlie Brooker.
Charlie Brooker before he went on to do all of the
Black Mirror.
Jamie,
Which-
Jamie Winston's in it.
I am a huge
Winston's in
fan.
it.
Davina
Davina
McCall. I love Davina McCall.
Dead Set.
Davina, if you're watching this, I love you.
Dead Set. If anyone's ever seen Big Brother,
Yes.
it's Big Brother. The people go into the Big Brother house to do the thing, but whilst they're in the house, there's a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah.
and everything gets taken over.
And
It's
they're
really
one of
good
their
fun.
things they're worried about is that people still watching them.
Are the people still watching them? Yeah. Have they still got the ratings? Are they allowed?
Am I gonna
yeah.
go out £1 million at the end of this?
Yeah, it's really good, but it is surprisingly bloodthirsty. It is surprisingly shocking.
Yeah, I mean that's Charlie Brooker for you. If you've ever seen any episode of Black Mirror,
Yeah.
even season 1, episode 1 of Black Mirror was whoa.
But it's well worth a watch.
100%.
It's called Dead Set. It was made by Channel 4 in the UK here. I think it's available on Amazon Prime or Netflix or somewhere like that.
Probably somewhere.
It'll be on
Just
some
search
streaming
Dead Set and
thing, yeah.
go from there.
Yeah.
And
so-
now, go on.
No, I was just going to say, and then we move into comic books really after we've had TV.
Yeah, this is my field of expertise. Not quite a screen, but we'll get there. Now, I see you've noted down to obviously the Walking Dead comic, which I'll defer to you because
The
I've not
Walking
read the
Dead comic is brilliant. It really is good. And the thing that's great about the Walking Dead comic is anything can happen at any time. They've got this. Well, they start off with a core group of characters, and literally anyone can die at any time. No one is safe. And I think that's where the TV series went wrong, where people actually became safe characters.
Well,
Whereas
yeah.
in the comic book, no one was.
Yeah.
safe.
Oh, we love this person. Well, we
Yeah.
can't sack that person then, can
Yeah,
we?
so really good. Check out the Walking Dead comic books. It's great artwork and everything.
I really liked the art that they did from the Walking Dead comic books.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
Yeah.
good. But we had Marvel Zombies. So Marvel ended up releasing a zombies mini-series, I suppose, for want of a better word. God, I can't remember when it was now either. But
Interesting fact, you know how the Marvel zombies got first infected?
no.
Ash from The Evil Dead.
Yes.
They did a crossover episode.
Well, hang on. Why have we not got Ash or the Evil Dead on
Because
here?
they're not zombies, they're deadites.
Deadites.
They're possessed demons.
We've included other shit, yeah.
yeah.
The Necronomicon. We
Yeah.
love Lovecraft.
The Book of the Dead.
The Book of the Dead. Literally, the Book of the Dead. I think Necronomicon is actually Book of the Language of the Dead, or something along those lines. Bit of a weird one. But the Necronomicon, Book of the Dead. The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Marvel zombies, there was a crossover where it was Ash. Ash was in a Marvel comic. He goes back in time. He's being chased by a Deadite, and he ends up in the Marvel universe. And I think Spider-Man gets infected,
Probably.
and it all
kicks off from there because everybody gets infected, and by the time that you end up where we are in the comic book, the zombies are basically on their own and they're starving. Now it's an interesting thing because similarly to the kind of zombie or outside of the zombie tropes that we're looking at, the Marvel zombies go feral when they're hungry. The moment they've consumed flesh or brains or whatever, they come back to lucidity and reality and then just basically sit in despair at the fact that Iron Man, the Hulk, Captain America, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine, I think it's those guys, they're heroes and they're like, we're eating people right now and they're devastated. But the series actually ends up with the Silver Surfer. coming to Earth and being like, well, this place is a shithole, let's get rid of it. And so the zombies then eat the Silver Surfer and gain a very small portion of the power cosmic, sort of split between 6 ways. They then take that portion of the Silver Surfer's power and go and eat Galactus, the devourer of worlds.
Gets devoured.
It gets devoured by zombies, and therefore these 6 zombies, which I'm pretty sure is Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Captain America, then go off as like 1/6 the power of Galactus to just go and spread the zombie plague elsewhere, which is brilliant. But funnily enough, and very recently, DC have actually done their own version of a zombie apocalypse called, which I thought was pretty good, Deceased.
Deceased.
Yep. And the Deceased style of comics or storybooks of comics was also really interesting. Not quite Ash versus the Evil Dead, but... And for anyone that's familiar to DC, we'll go from there. We are ScreenJest, by the way. And we have had a couple of beers, maybe some vino. But yeah, if you're interested, ScreenJest is on YouTube. You can watch the full stream on there. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah. So that's comic books.
Well, hang on.
Oh, sorry. Deceased.
Yeah, I was just waiting for a logical pause for us to edit in. So Deceased, actually, as it turned out, was this. Do you know Cyborg from the movie?
Yes.
I tell you what. Do you know what's really good is that if you've seen the Zack Snyder Justice League version, you'll know that like Steppenwolf and all of that sort of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that whole thing that probably will never be explored is all what they call the New Gods. So Darkseid. And Darkseid, who is like the Thanos of DC, is really into getting something that they call the anti-life equation. And so what happens in Deceased is that Cyborg gets abducted and taken back to the planet of Apocalypse, and is basically has like the virus downloaded into him or whatever, but it mixes with this aspect of death that exists on Apocalypse and turns Darkseid into a zombie. And so Cyborg then sort of teleports out because he's got this mother box teleportation technology in him, teleports back to Earth. And fairly similarly to the tropes that we've been looking at, you find out that where people are sort of like social media, like snapping him and stuff like that, his own Wi-Fi or the signals that are coming off of him so that he can connect in with technology, download the anti-life zombie virus into your phone, which then infects you as a person.
Oh, what? Just through the phone?
Just through the phone. So all of the initial infected are through the phone, because the anti-life equation is information. So it's information transmitted virus, and the whole planet becomes infected. Batman gets infected. You know, it's a whole thing where some of your favourite DC characters get infected with this zombie virus. Deceased. Look it up.
Right, and we are going to move now into video games, although we have only got...
We've not got long, have we?
No, I've only got about 5 minutes left.
How long have you been going?
55 minutes.
56 minutes and 22 seconds.
So let's go on to video games very quickly.
I tell you what have we got? So under the video games, I only want to cover the Resident Evil franchise.
Okay,
and the reason that I want to cover the Resident Evil franchise is because it is a franchise that has lost its mind more times than anyone could possibly count. It is just beautiful about how honestly ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I found though the problem is it's moved away from zombies, isn't it?
Resident Evil 1, zombies in a mansion.
Yeah.
Great game. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, perfect.
Yeah, wasn't it it wasn't the Tyrant, was it?
It was
the Tyrant,
it was
because that's why it's the T virus.
Yes, it was so T for Tyrant virus, yes. Yeah. Resident Evil 2. So, Cliff Notes version, the virus doesn't escape the mansion, okay? What happens is a few weeks or about a month or so later, in Raccoon City, which is paired up with this kind of umbrella research facility up in the mansions, is a researcher called William Birkin is assassinated by Umbrella Special Ops, and injects himself with something called the G virus.
Right, okay. I've got a bit of the G virus in me.
The gamer virus. So I tell you what, very interesting fact, and I know we've not got time for this, but in the original Resident Evil 2, the one that came out on the PlayStation back in the day, the G virus was actually called, so T is tyrant virus. That's what the T stands for in tyrant virus, in T virus. In G virus, it actually originally meant gene virus, so Gene. And the reason for that was because the virus had the ability to multiply your genes, which is why Birkin didn't become a zombie so much as he did a bioweapon of massive proportions. But
which is where a lot of the thing then went, wasn't it, with Resident Evil?
It spiraled properly out of control. This is why I lost my mind after that. But in the very recent Resident Evil 2 remake, which is the most Resi game to come out, they actually renamed it to the Golgotha virus.
Right.
And if you're interested in knowing what Golgotha is, it's actually the hill in which Jesus Christ was crucified on. There you go. There you go.
Poor old Jeebus.
Poor old Jeebus. Resident Evil 2, very good game. Resident Evil 3, once again, back with Jill Valentine. That's where you see Nemesis.
Yeah.
So that Nemesis creature came from Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil Code Veronica was the one that was after that, again with Claire Redfield rather than anyone else at this time. And that was where you then had what they called the T Veronica virus, which was a different version of the T virus. You then had other games that had like TG virus and all of that sort of stuff. But it got mentally out of control, and then bang, Capcom goes, no, Resident Evil 4.
Greatest game.
One of the best games I have ever played in my entire life, and out of all of the Resis at the moment, it's probably my favourite. I mean, it's just so good.
I've completed it on Switch, not on Switch, on the Wii, the GameCube.
I had it on PlayStation 2 and on GameCube. Careful, Connor, you're rocking these mics. PlayStation 2 and on GameCube. Rock the mic, don't rock the mic, baby.
Let's rock the boat.
Rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Don't tip the boat over.
Resi 4, great game. Had something in it called Las Plagas. Las Plagas, which were a kind of parasite that lived inside a human being. And you had two types, which are two variants. The lower level strain, which everyone was infected with, and the higher level strain, which gave people with that higher level strain dominance over the lower level strain.
Yeah.
You then went
where you get the man that splits in half and becomes a centipede man.
Yes, yeah, exactly like that. You then had Resi 5, capitalising a lot on the Plagas.
Shiva.
I think so.
Shiva's
she's the companion. Yeah,
Chris Redfield?
Yeah. So it's Leon Kennedy in Res 4.
Yeah, Chris
Redfield once
and
again
Shiva.
in Res 5. Yeah, with Ashley, the president's daughter.
Oh yeah,
Help me, Leon.
The good thing about in that the president's daughter, if you got the guns with the scope on it, and you made her climb up a ladder, and you had her look up her skirt with the scope, she'd say,
"Stop being such a pervert, Leon."
We've all been there.
2004, best year for game design. Then you had Resi 5. Now, Resi 5 was okay.
Yeah.
Basically a carbon copy of Resi 4, in my opinion. And then you had Resident Evil 6, which was just so bad it fucking blew people's minds. It was awful.
Wasn't Resident Evil 6 with Wesker right at the end?
So no, because Wesker died in Resi 5.
Right.
That was Wesker right at the end. So Wesker in Resi 5 created this thing called the Ouroboros virus, which killed him in the end. Resi 6 was, it's like, in Resi 4 you play as Leon Kennedy, in Resident Evil 5 you play as Chris Redfield, in Resident Evil 6 you get to play as everyone. Right. You are Leon Kennedy and his token female partner in five episodes, five things. You then have Chris Redfield and his token young commando, who you can play for 5 campaigns. You then have Sherry Birkin from Resi 2 as a grown immortal woman with Jake Mueller, it was his name, Jake Mueller, who is Albert Wesker's illegitimate son for the next 5 episodes of that campaign. Oh my god, it was just amazing. They had the chrysalis virus, which lets some Texan dude turn into a T-Rex. it was a mess. It was an awful game. It was an awful game.
And then they went back to the horror roots, didn't they?
And then after that they went back and played, sorted out and they have Resident Evil 7, which, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best Resident Evil games that's come out.
Yeah, is that set in the house?
That is the one that's set in the swamps of Louisiana. Phenomenal, really good game, really good game.
So Resident Evil games always been, well, as you've heard there, some have been good, some have been bad, but they've always been a consistent in the zombie genre.
Good zombie games, in my opinion: The Last of Us, Resident Evil 7/4,
Left 4 Dead,
the Left 4 Dead franchise, and again another game another game made by Capcom. We're getting there. Another game made by Capcom is the Dead Rising franchise.
Dead Rising, yeah.
Which, if you want sandbox zombies, is great. And one of my personal favourites, which I play all the time, is Resident Evil 2 Resident Evil 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It gets so bloody confusing. Call of Duty Black Ops zombies, Nazi zombies in any Call of Duty game. Great.
And also, I remember sometimes I played that one, and all of a sudden it comes up Spetsnaz, and it's the Russian Spetsnaz come after you, but there's a zombie version of the Russian Spetsnaz.
Carpenter.
Yeah. So that was zombies in video games. So there's been loads of zombies. So we've covered here movies, comics. What did you want to talk about?
Mention Dead Snow.
Dead Snow? What, in movies?
Yeah.
We've moved on from movies about half an hour ago.
Fucking.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 of zombies if you like this one, so that Connor can get to talk about Dead Snow. It's all right.
And Dead Snow 2.
It's okay.
And Dead Snow, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
He's fine.
So, yeah, we've covered
fine.
movies, TV, comic books, video games. We've covered loads of stuff about zombies. So, that's it. That's zombies for you.
That I like the fact that you've got this real nice box on the script that says closing discussion, and you were like, "That's it, everybody."
Yeah, well,
We're done.
I put on there. So ultimately, what scares us most about zombies is the fear that those who we surround ourselves with and we give utmost trust to could ultimately be the cause of our undoing.
Absolutely. And on that bombshell,
and I've got a nice quote to finish with.
Go for it.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead
shall walk the earth. Yes. George A. Romero. All that's left for us to say, guys, is have a great evening. Try not to get caught in any deadly zombie viruses. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe for ScreenJest. If you've got any suggestions on anything you want us to talk about, please let us know in the comments below. And as always, we will see you guys.
Keep jesting.
Keep jesting.
See you later, everybody.
Bye, guys.